Welcome again to Java programming tutorial. Now, remember from our last video tutorial, we had written this particular simple program here. If you run this particular program, what it gives you to the output screen here, it says hello programmer. So what I want to do in this particular tutorial, it is to explain what is going on here. First, I told you that there were some of these lines, and I told you that I want to explain to you. This is what we call in a programming language comments. And what do we mean by comments? These lines do not mean anything to the compiler. When the compiler sees them, it just skips them. It doesn't really bother to know what is going within these particular lines, like this one here and these ones here. What they usually are, these are just comments are just shorthand notes that we integrate into your program to explain what you are doing. For instance, here I could add a comment and say that, explain that particular line and say that this line outputs error programmer to the screen. Error, sorry for that. It outputs error programmer to the console screen. So what I'm simply telling whoever who is coming to read this program later, I'm just explaining what this particular line is doing here. So as we advance, you come to know that, realize that when you are developing a large application, there are some parts which might not be very clear to your fellow programmers. So you need a way to tell them what is going on at that particular piece of code. So you use what we call comments. The other thing, apart from explaining what is going on, they serve as a documentation. Remember, as we progress, there are three types of Java comments. We have the single line comment. This is what you are seeing here. This is a single line comment. Then we have a multi-line comment, like this one which you are seeing here. This is a multi-line comment. Multi-line comments usually start with a forward slash, then an asterisk, then you finish up with the asterisk. So whatever goes inside here, you can spread it. You can spread it here. It can go several lines. So you just explain within this. Then the last one, the type of comment that we have in Java, it is the documentation comments, and these have been given here. As you can see, the documentation comments, they just begin with a forward slash, double asterisk at the beginning, then whatever explanation you want to put goes in directly there. For now, this one like this one shows the author of this particular file. So as you can see, this is the author of this particular file. When I compile it at the last, it will generate for me these particular comments. That is the section for explaining the comments, and I hope that they are very clear why you need to contain these comments in your program. They are very crucial when you are developing a large application. The other one, I want to explain these lines here. Whenever you want to create a class, remember I told you that a class, it is a container of it is a blueprint of what we intend to do. So like this class of ours, whenever you want to start it, if you want it to be accessed by everybody, you put a public modifier. For now, do not be worried about the modifier. When we get to modifiers, I will explain why we need these modifiers. Then you pre-append the class keyword there. Then your class name follows. You open up the curly brace and close here. And this is the good thing that I told you about the IDE. Once you point your cursor or place your cursor in one of the curly braces, it shows you immediately the terminating curly brace. Or if you press it at the terminating curly brace, it shows you the opening of the other curly brace. So within here now, this is our class, and whatever in Java, whatever is in between these curly braces, we usually call that this is a block of code. That is the terminology Java uses, that this is a block of code. So if you add that, or if you for in the future you see me or you hear me saying a block of code, just know that that is the piece of statements which are contained within an opening curly brace and its respective closing brace. We come here, so far we have not declared any attributes, but we shall do that later. We have got only one method, and this method of ours, it is called the main method. This one I usually liken it like when you get to a car, you want to move from point A to point B. Your car has got an ignition point where you just you insert your key, your ignition key, then you start off your car. Or the modern cars, they have an ignition pattern. So this is an entry point where the program will start from. This is where it switches itself on. So once it switches itself on, it starts executing from this particular point. From here, there are other, I've told you, there are modifiers here. The one I could explain it is static. The keyword static here enables this particular program, this particular method to be executed without necessarily creating the object of this class. Later on, when we get to the concept of maybe right now it might be difficult to understand, but once we get to the object-oriented programming concept, you will see that whenever you create a class, you've just that is just a byte of lines that you put in your source code. They mean nothing until the time you create an object of this particular class. That is when it will become useful. But come to think of this particular program of ours, we don't need really to create. If we were to create this, then the program can have a lot of confusion. It doesn't know where to start running from. So that is why we usually use the keyword static whenever we want a method to be run without necessarily creating the object of that particular class. There are situations like that. As we progress, we are going to see them. Then the void, remember, not always that this program of yours must output some text to the console screen as it is doing right now. There are others you pass in, like these ones here, we call them parameters. We shall also explain that into details when we get to that particular chapter. So you pass in what we call parameters. For instance, it is a method which is used to calculate the sum. So you pass in those two maybe parameters. It does the calculation, it does the addition of maybe, for example, it adds A plus B, then you expect it not to return for you that particular results back. So this is what we usually do. So from there, what you are supposed to do, it is to tell the program to give you the results back of this particular code. Therefore, in situations like this, what you are supposed to do, it is to just use the keyword return, and it will give you back the results that you wanted. So for now, we will leave this, and we shall see how to do this. I know why it is complaining here. It is because we have said that it is not expecting any results to be returned. The keyword void there is when your program doesn't, in like this one here, doesn't return any results. But for now, maybe I will leave it there. When we get to the actual inspection of methods and features, I will be explaining into detail, and we shall have a practical on that, and that is when these concepts will be singing. So what I wanted to emphasize here mostly is about what the program was doing here. So you've seen that these are comments, and I've said that comments, they simply explain what you are supposed to do. Maybe they are even helpful to you. Remember, you might write a program today and you know what it is doing perfect in every section. But a month later, you come back and you are trying to debug your program, and you want to understand what was actually going on here. So this is a good technique in which you can explain to yourself and other programmers what you are actually trying to do. So this line here knows how to put the words "hello programmer" to the output screen, as we have seen here. So this one, the word print line, here is essentially what this line does. It knows how to do that particular job perfectly. So I hope that is what I wanted to explain here, and I've also explained what we mean by the block of code. So from now henceforth, if you hear somebody or me saying a block of code, you will be knowing what I'm referring to. And if you hear that we have written a comment, just know that we have three of them. We have the single line comments, like the one I'd inserted here. Like this one, it is a single line comment, and the program just ignores what is going on in between those lines. These are meant for human beings, the human programmers, to interpret, to read, and know what is happening. So they can be placed anywhere between your source file. So they don't have, you can put them in front of this, but ensure that you start them correctly. For the single line, it is you start them with the double forward slash. For documentation like this one, you start with a single forward slash, but followed by a double asterisk. But for the multi-line comments like this one, it is a single forward slash, then a single asterisk, then you terminate with an asterisk, single backslash. So that is it for now. Hope it was informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, you can hit the notification panel so that you can bell so that you can be notified when I will be uploading the new material on this particular tutorial series. Welcome for now.